Make this room your yeah. We need you to on fire. Burn inside our hearts. Yeah, say, it's fire and wind. Thank you, Lord. Hey everybody, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am not going to be on here long today. I just wanted to come and talk about something that has been on my mind for the last, I don't know, day or two. So there was a post that I saw on Facebook, and I can't remember what the post really said because when I went to go back to find it, I couldn't find it. But it had to do with people that you surround yourself with, people that are around you. And it was really talking about, being careful of the people, that you have in your inner circle or in your area, or the people that you associate with, was what it was talking about. And looking at the post, I believe I made a comment down below the post that I saw that said, who are your James, Peter, and John? And I thought about that. I talked about that a while ago, about knowing who your James, Peter, and John are. And as a lot of people know, I'm always saying that you need to be surrounded by people that they absolutely positively do not and will not condone your foolishness and your dysfunction. You need to have those type of people around you that are going to love you enough and love you more than worrying about if I say this to them that we're not going to be friends, they're going to be mad at me, they're going to be upset with me. You have to have people that are willing and are going to say, I'm more concerned about your soul and where you're going to spend eternity than I am if you're going to be mad at me if I tell you what God is telling me to tell you. If I tell you what God is saying he showed me to tell you. If I see you going in error, I'm going to be more concerned about your soul and where you spend eternity than I am going to be concerned about whether or not we're going to fall out of fellowship or we're going to fall out of friendship, because I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you what thus says the Lord. So those are the type of people that you need around you. They don't condone your foolishness and your dysfunction. They love you. They're concerned about you. They're going to pray. They're not going to talk about you and run your name all down in the street and put your business in the street, but they're actually going to go and pray. They're going to go and intercede for you. They're going to stand in the gap for you. And so that brought me back to what I heard when I was in a mentor program that I was in, where the apostle talked about James, Peter, and John. Those were the three that went, and they were supposed to pray while Jesus, was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying to his Father about having to go to the cross for some wretched people like us. And what we talked about was, who are your three? Who are your three? Who are your James, Peter, and John? Who are your three? Who are your three? Your James, your Peter, and your John. Who are the three that you can count on, that they're going to be there? They're going to tell you the truth. They're not going to condone your foolishness, your dysfunction. They're not going to condone any of that, but they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to speak the word of the Lord to you. They're going to pray for you. So who are your three? And I know it's fading out because of the background that I have. But who are your three? Who are your James, your Peter, and your John? And the thing about it is, you have to allow God to show you who your James, Peter, and John are. Because when God shows you who they are, they may or may not be your best buddy, your ace coon boom, your ride or die. They may not be that. Those may not be the individual that God gives you. Now, it's a blessing if it turns out that those are the individuals that God gives to you, then that's a blessing. But it may be somebody totally different that God brings to you, that God says, hey, this is the person. These are the people that I have in store for you. These are the people that are going to be there for you. These are the ones that I know that when I give a word for you to them, they're going to give you that word. They're not going to condone your foolishness. They're not going to condone your dysfunction. They're not going to let you get away with it. They're going to give you the word, and then they're going to pray that once they give you the word, that you allow that word to penetrate in your heart and you act accordingly to what the word is that was given. That is what God does when it comes to your James, Peter, and John. Those three that God give you that, you know what, sis, bro, I can't let you get away with that. I'm sorry. No, I love you too much. I'm more concerned about your soul than to allow that to happen and you get away with that. And so today I just want to say, take stock. Take stock. Take stock of who your James, who your Peter, and who your John are in your life. Take stock of that. And if you don't have that, then ask God to show you and bring to you who are my James, my Peter, and my John. Who are the ones that you have, God, that are not going to condone my foolishness, who are not going to condone my dysfunction. Who are those ones that you have for me? Because I believe that God has a James, Peter, and John for all of us. It may or may not be the people or person that you want, but God has somebody that is not going to condone your foolishness and your dysfunction. He has somebody. He has the people. He has the three that are going to be more concerned about your soul and where eternity will be for your soul than if your feelings are going to get hurt for a few moments. If you going to get upset for a few moments. If you going to be mad for a few moments because God is saying, thus said the Lord, and this, that, and the other. Who are your James, your Peter, and your John? And they don't always stay the same. They change. Sometimes they may stay the same because God has ordained those people to go with you on your journey. But at some point, they may change because mine changed. Yep. One of my Peter, James, and John is not a Peter, James, or John anymore. God changed it because God was changing me. God changed it because God was elevating me and still is. And so he replaced that James, Peter, or John with another James, Peter, or John. That's to go on with me on the journey that I'm on now. And you have to be okay with God changing who your James, your Peter, and your John are. Because there are certain Johns, certain Peters, and certain James that are to go with you in your season. And there may be some that God says they're to go in every season. So there they are. But it may come a season where he moves one out and puts another one in. You have to be okay with that. And you gotta be comfortable with that. All right, that's really all I had to say, was to talk a little bit about the James, Peter, and John. and we're right at 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave you all with the rest of this song that I do not own the rights to, and I've got it going across the screen. And it's the Fire Song. It's Fire Song by All Nations Worship Music. And I love this song. Take a listen, because we need the fire of God. 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 Come on, say, sing fire, 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 oh, sing fire, 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 oh, sing on the day of Pentecost, fire fall on me, on the day of Pentecost. Come on, go on, sing fire, 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 oh, fire, 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 we need you to fall on the day of Pentecost. Fire fall on me. Come on the day of Pentecost. One more time. Yes, sir. Fire fall. Fire, fire. Fire, fire, fire. Fire, fire, fire. We need you to fall. Yes, sir. Fire fall on me. On the day of Pentecost. Fire fall on me. Sing on the day of Pentecost. Fire fall on me. On the day of Pentecost. Fire fall on me. Oh, sound of heaven is rushing in. The cloud is coming. There's something changing. The sound of heaven is rushing in. The cloud is coming. The cloud is coming. Yeah, something changing. The sound of heaven is rushing in. It's rushing in. The cloud is coming. There's something changing. The sound of heaven is rushing in. It's rushing in. The cloud is coming. Yeah, yes, something changing. The sound of heaven is rushing in. The cloud is coming. There's something changing. The sound of heaven is rushing in. The cloud is coming. Yes, the cloud is coming. There's something changing. The cloud is coming. There's something changing. The cloud is coming.